What's going on, man? This is your boy Ari Starks, and we are here, man. I feel like this is a first time, but many time for me. I've been trying to get this whole Ari Starks comics world going, but we are here, man. It is the holiday season, as you can see with the sweater, you know. But we got comics to talk about. We got a crazy week ahead of us for Christmas Eve, and we had a nice little week that just passed with some comics, man. So let's get straight into it. Let's not hold anybody up. I know we got a lot of shopping and last minute shopping to do. But like I said, let's get right into it. We have All Fight Month from DC. DCKO continues, y'all. It continues. We are not stopping. This has been a fun month. I can't even lie to you. Some stories have been better than others. Some a little bit more story driven, a little bit more action packed. But I can't act like that stopped me from really appreciating what I'm getting from these stories. So let's talk about it. We start with Cyborg and Swamp Thing, which, in my opinion, honestly, you could talk about this, and you could talk about this and the Zatanna storyline, Zatanna versus Harley Quinn, in the same light, in a sense. Because way I look at it, it's a solid story. Don't get me wrong, very fun story, as all of them are. But this one felt like learning grounds, teaching grounds for the winners of these fights. With one of the other, like with this one, Cyborg and Swamp Thing, we know, saying that it's a pretty, I don't know if you want to say it's even. I'm not super into the DC characters as I should be, but I'm learning as I go. But I would have thought it would have been a pretty even match from the power I heard of Swamp Thing and the things I've seen of Cyborg. But the beginning match, whew, Cyborg was not playing and got Swamp Thing up out of here real quick. But I felt like I said, with that brought cockiness to Cyborg throughout the story, and Swamp Thing humbled him real quick. But the whole reason was for humbling him in these ways was to make sure that he's really ready for the future fights. I don't ever think Swamp Thing really wanted to participate in the DCKO tournament, but I mean, what can you do when you're just brought there, But I feel like he definitely would have had. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know. The man can literally control nature and all of these things, And he shows Cyborg real quick how crazy that can get. But I don't think he ever really wanted to participate in this tournament, given the nature of this tournament and given the nature, no pun intended, of Swamp Thing. Just maybe doesn't align with his morals and all that nature. But he wanted to make sure that Cyborg was in the right mindset and not, fighting with cockiness and all of that such. Actually fighting prepared and with purpose. If I'm not mistaken, in the final round, Cyborg acknowledged, he was like, first round I got cocky, second round I let Swamp Thing psych me out, knock me off my high horse. I gotta admit, his talk of being alone hit the hardest. And the big thing was about it that he was saying that while all of you Swamp Thing was saying this to Cyborg, as all of you guys will be long and gone, forgotten, I will forever be here, and you just making lighting that he's forever, while these things will die alone in all of these natures. And that really hit Cyborg, given the situation right now with the Titans all spread apart and him being the only Titan on this fighting tournament and such. So it really hit him. But he understood what Swamp Thing was trying to do for him, and he told him, You know what I'm saying? I didn't come this far to throw in the towel. And Swamp Thing tells him, you appear more cautious this time, Cyborg. Is that form supposed to protect you this time around? You know, like he's pretty much acknowledging that he's being more cautious, he's fighting more maturely. And that's all Swamp Thing wanted from him. And it was a really cool fight. And at the end, we get um, more story to go along with the Booster Gold Dark Side versus the Time Trappers and everybody in the Watchtower. These interludes have been really interesting. It is giving you a reason to make you go out and read every single Fight Month issue so you can follow what Dark Side is going to be doing in the background of the tournament. But I liked what I got from this one. Um, and like I said, we moved over to what was it, and Zatanna and Harley Quinn, which I thought was just a little fun too. This was fun just as much as any other ones. But let's talk about this one real quick. Let's get to the banner. Let me get my banners. Yeah, we got Harley Quinn versus Zatanna, round 5. And this one was in the same light, in my opinion. Oh, this music gotta go. That's definitely not the vibe. But but yeah, so like I was saying, it's more so that these were learning lesson stomping grounds for our heroes in this one. And for a guy like me who really doesn't watch too much or read too much Zatanna, this definitely made me root for her a little bit more going into this. I mean, from what I hear about Zatanna, I knew Harley Quinn wasn't going to win, especially when I found out that they weren't bringing along the weapons and all that stuff that they got in issue 2 of DCKO. So once I seen that wasn't in play, yeah, Harley Quinn had no chance. But the story at least was good enough that Harley wanted to push Zatanna further. That's what a lot of people had to come to realization with this tournament, that you can't just talk your way out of it. You just can't go away, try to fight around or move around the way of the heart of the apocalypse. The heart of apocalypse wants blood, and then you got certain people like Zatanna and Superman and so on and so forth that's trying to move around that and trying to be more peaceful and diplomatic about the situation. But you got people like Harley Quinn that are telling you, in Captain Atom, that's like, yo, you're not understanding what this is. We gotta get with it or we get lost. So let's get ready to fight and get you ready. And Zatanna was just so reluctant to really do this with Harley because she's seen each other as friends and all of that nature. But Harley Quinn was just trying to push Zatanna and push Zatanna and push Zatanna over that edge, where to the point where she just wilded out on Harley Quinn. And that's exactly like I said with Swamp Thing. That's all they wanted from this person, was to be mentally and physically prepared for the next rounds. Because that person, like Harley Quinn or maybe Swamp Thing, knew that this tournament wasn't in their favor. You know what I'm saying? Whether, you know what I'm saying, moral wise or physically, it wasn't in their favor to win this shit. So she just had to prepare her girl for the best way she could. And that's just nasty trolling, did some brutal trolling at that. But it did what it needed to do for Zatanna. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm low-key rooting for Zatanna in this tournament. So like I said, this was another solid issue for the series. Like I said, was it like the craziest thing? No, not really, but it was a good enough story to keep things moving. And like I said, more and more storylines with what's his name, Darkseid in the background. Yeah, so like I said, that we got that from the DCKO Fight Month, and then we move over to Absolute Flash issue 10. As you see, I got the Clayton Crane cover right here. Couldn't help it, but this is also a story that started to get its feet up under them. It's starting to really, no pun intended, they're starting to gain some speed. And we got the Wally West pretty much trying to go back to Fort Fox to save his father after the what are they called? The villains, pretty much. I can't think of Captain Cold and all of them. Pretty much told him like, "Yo, go save your dad. We got it from here." And that's what his plan was. But while he's in Fort Fox, he's seeing a bunch of different memories of his past and all that stuff, all hitting him at once. When he met Barry Allen, arguments with his father, so many different things are hitting him at once while he's walking through um this building. And I already got nose hairs bothering me. But we end up getting one of the other villains. I forgot the pumpkin head looking one that pretty much traps Wally West in the building where the machine that not Veronica. What's the woman name? Let me get the joint. Let me make sure I get the right info. I hate getting people's names wrong. Here we go. Absolute Flash. Oh wait, I'm tripping like I don't got the DC Infinite app. Like I didn't just pay that $12.99. You feel me? We're gonna utilize these joints. Now, where you go? All right. I got so many reading apps I can't find the right ones. There you go. But let's see what Absolute Flash. I just want to make sure I get the woman's name. I know Veronica Kale is in the other joint. I just want to make sure I get my girl name right. Here we go. Where's Tim? Where's Tim? You ain't put up 10 yet. Oh dang. All right, I guess we gotta go promote the book. I'll edit this in the post production. But pretty much she wanted the villain to trap Wally into the building so they could try to get him into the machine. All right, where are we at? So yes. So yeah, they get him trapped into the building. And pretty much, like I said, he's trying to deal with all these different mental tricks being played on him and such. And the next thing we see is that we it's something grabbing and trying to pull for Wally to save him, and he thinks that is Barry. He thinks it's Barry coming out of the this Speed Force machine, and we see at the same time Wally's dad is telling him, "No, this is not the move. That's not Barry." And as soon as we see a glimpse of it, not Barry, it's Thawne. We get absolute Reverse Flash coming out of the Speed Force machine and just throws Wally West inside of it, letting them know it can only be one. And you see the signs. I'm forgetting what her name is right now. I'm mad. I'm blanking. Let me go to my League of Comic Geeks real quick. But this is her grandfather, and what's it? Something Thawne. Oh my gosh, I'm mad. I'm forgetting right now. What is Shorty name? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Eleanor Thawne. Eleanor Thawne's grandfather. You know, Ebedar Thawne. Like this, it got crazy. He looks insane, bro. Like these versions of these villains, like Reverse Flash and Absolute Bane and Absolute Joker, look insane compared to their regular Earth versions. I gotta say, these Absolute versions are horrific, man. But he throws Barry into the times, pretty much into the Speed Force, and this is where we see that Barry Allen's pretty much energy created body welcomes Wally home. And I was just so confused, not in a bad way. It's just like, boy, where do we go from here? Like, I'm very interested to see how Barry like puts Wally on to this world and teaching him how he can be able to really use the Speed Force and control it for himself. That's going to be a very interesting arc where they're going in with that. Like I said, it's starting to get better. Like I said, between that and Absolute Green Lantern, they definitely starting to pick up. But moving over from DC, we are here with Marvel. Let's talk about it. We got, what is this? Intergalactic Black Panther issue 1. This is by Lavelle. I'm gonna make sure I get the name right. But this is coming off the heels of Imperial War, just like Nova Sectarian, Planet She-Hulk, all of those. Make sure they probably put it in the back movie. Marvel never gets to put the things in the right area. All right. Yeah, so we got Victor Lavelle. Yeah, Lavelle on writing. We got Stefano Nessi on the inks. We got Brian Valenza on the colors. So yeah, this was a pretty solid story. If you remember from Imperial War, we had a father and their son out in pretty much the deserts of Wakanda. It seemed like they were escaping from something, and he was had a some type of tool that he had, and he ended up dying in the explosion within the Kree and Star War and stuff of that nature. And we pick up from there where the son was rescued by T'Challa, and now he's trying to figure out what's this whole thing going on with his father, their background, this this I don't know, this orb or this energy ball or AI system they have pretty much. We're trying to figure that out. We also find out that he's on some distant planet fighting against, like, it seems like he's on the Savage Lands, and at the same time he's trying to connect with Shuri to get contact back with Wakanda. And right now the throne is empty. Nobody knows where T'Challa is. You know what I'm saying? Baku's, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out. Everybody trying to figure it out because with no seat at the table, when nobody's sitting on the throne, shit might get crazy, you know? So while T'Challa's out there battling in the wildlands, we get more, you know what I'm saying, information about the son and the father and what their whole background was, and find out that he was a scientist that worked for another leader that pretty much let him, you know what I'm saying, work freely until it got a little too crazy and he had to escape. And we end up, like I said, explosion, blah, 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 blah. It's pretty much a little world building and just pretty much getting us understanding what this mild premise is. Um, I'm cool with it so far. Because at the end, we see that they have another emperor in line or in the seat ready, and I'm interested to see who that is. Nothing super wowing. We did get a nice Doc Ock cameo, so I'm interested to see what Doc Ock is doing out here in the Savage Lands. Him versus Black Panther should be pretty interesting. Two scientists going at it. Like, I'm gonna check out a few issues. Not gonna put it on my pull list. Like, so I'm gonna read it weekly, week by week, and if it's good, it's good. If it gets boring, I'm gonna just drop it. You know, it's not that crazy, you know. But so far, it's pretty solid. I'm always around for a nice Black Panther story. I can't lie. But moving on from there, we go to Amazing Spider-Man Torn issue 3. So this one, we're following up, coming off the MJ and Peter Parker date, where he's trying to put more work in with Shorty. You know, he sees that, what's her name, Harry and Gwen are kind of doing their thing, and it's just awkward. So it's just like not on some like process of elimination or just because you're here, but he's like, nah, like the thing with me and MJ is moving, is grooving. I don't need to be focused on the past, pretty much. But we have Evangeline who comes through and attacks Spider-Man, looking for the book to help her change back into human form, and Spider-Man is not letting her get it. Pretty much saying like, you murdered some people, and all that sounds good, but you could do that in jail, you know. But the fight is going back and forth, and she ends up sensing where it is, And once she finds where the energy of the book is coming from, she gets warped into the book, and it brings her into some weird abstract world that we as the viewers, nor does Evangeline know what the heck is going on. But in that same moment, you know what I'm saying, Peter comes back and Gwen Stacy and Captain Stacy pull up to see if they can be able to help Spider-Man, well not Spider, well Peter Parker get his shoulder looked at. And it's just really awkward for Mary Jane because she's got Peter always leaving and all of that stuff. Then this old shorty comes up and you know what I'm saying, comes to help him and take him away. It's just a lot of stuff going on right now for a lot of parties. But that leads her to go talk and have a conversation with Aunt May and really understand what this whole how to explain her feeling or how to feel about how she feels. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, is her feelings valid? You know, does she feel like Peter is just pushing her away? Is it her? Is it something? And she just had to explain it the best way she could that Peter is a protector and this is his life that makes him this way. So it's just either you deal with it until you can't, pretty much. But moving from there, you also had Evangeline talking with this ambient being that pretty much said they've been waiting for her to come and they've been waiting for her. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not the person you think I am. She's like, they're like, did you catch a body? Oh, okay, then you're exactly the person we're looking for. And kind of from my interpretation, is looking like this might be the symbiotes. I'm not sure, but we also get a conversation between Peter Parker and Norman Osborn, Harry Osborn, which I thought was just so hilarious. We got Harry Osborn starting to figure out or starting to be more intrigued about what's going on with his father in the basement. He might be working on some Green Goblin stuff, but he comes back to the apartment dormitory to just get some away time from his father and have some chat with Peter and such. And they both pretty much are talking about how a lot of the situation with their relationship between Gwen Stacy has been very awkward for both of them. And he's pretty much talking, Harry is pretty much talking about he might want to give up the whole thing. And it's a funny panel where Spider-Man is just in the background just saying, give up, give up, give up, give up. Like, I thought that was hilarious, man. But he also knew in that same moment that it's like, nah, that's not what he wanted. He really this is a moment for him to really let go of the past and move forward with MJ, and that's what he really is going to do. But that was just a really funny moment there. Like I said, we had the moment with Evangeline and what I think may be the symbiotes. I don't know if she's talking to like the like older versions of them. Like I said, I'm not sure, but this is early Spider-Man lore, so we'll see where it goes from there. But I'm liking this story so far. I can't even lie. Been really good. So next we have Daredevil versus Punisher. There we go. Got Daredevil versus Punisher, issue two. Same with the last story. It's just pretty much a story of Daredevil being challenged by Punisher to pretty much figure out what he really stands on. Is you trying to arrest these people always going to is not going to be the way. They're going to get on there, continue to do what they do, and Punisher way is nipping it in the bud right there and cutting the cancer out right there. No more. And I feel like this is just literally just a story to just expand on that whole little ideology, clash between them two. Like, it's solid. I'm always gonna be around for Daredevil and Punisher fights and such, but I need more of a story than this. Now, apparently, this is in the world of like the old Punisher Max storylines from back in the day, which I do have some, but I haven't read those yet. So it's like if I did know the story around that, then probably would make it a little bit more cool for me. I don't know, but like this is just I feel like it's just a simple story to just expound and just give us more Daredevil and Punisher because we're about to get the TV show coming next year again. But I'm saying it was cool, but it's not crazy, crazy unless you're like you see if all of these are going to be like that we're just going to keep seeing Punisher push Daredevil to the limits of where he stands on his morals. I'll just go back and watch season 2 and season 1 of Daredevil. I don't know, like I don't want to have to keep seeing that every issue. Like, give me something else. Moving from there, we got um Mighty Thor issue 5. Sorry, I was supposed to get pulling up my banners up. We got that right there, Mighty Thor issue 5. Coming off of issue 4, which I'm gonna keep it tall with you. I did not read. I had to just kind of skip over that. I wasn't really into the whole Asgard, what's going on up there and such right now. Like right now, at least. Like I'm so into what's going on with my man Seagard, Charleston, and him and this hammer and whooping ass. That's what I was here for. That's what's been keeping me pulling this story every week. And then with the last, if I'm not mistaken, I did pick up. I think Odin's son pulled up last issue and surprised Loki. Pretty much said like, "Yo, what you been on down here?" You know. And we pretty much from this issue we see where Odin's been. Pretty much, we come to find out that he's not able to go back to Valhalla. He's been turned into Odin's son, the Wanderer, and he's just been going around just on his nomad shit. Um, but he pretty much is coming to trying to figure out, is this another trick? What he's doing with Seagard, aka Thor, is this another one of Loki's tricks and all of that nature? Because he doesn't look at Seagard as the Donald Blake that he turned Thor into back in the day. Like, you see this as some other person he doesn't even acknowledge as Thor. But they're having a conversation and trying to figure out what's Loki's play. But while we see that, we come from the aftermath of Thor whooping all of the serpent assassins' asses on the scaffolds, and he's being interrogated by the cops. And these pretty much, give the stonewalling them, waiting till the lawyer comes. And they're playing the whole nice cop bad cop energy. But it was some really good story beats. The art is really nice in here. And for this to be a actionless story like the last one, I like this even more. Like I said, is dealing with the characters that I've been starting with. I'm not too hip on all the Asgard Thor stuff, but I'm learning as I go. But this has been fun so far, really fun. And then we get this very eccentric lawyer that comes through and helps out Thor to find out that's not really his lawyer, and this is a lawyer that was sent out by the original Donald Blake, who just goes by Blake now, who's the leader of the Serpent Society, and he pretty much says he's been looking for Thor, but he wanted to make it a more of a challenge to find him. And he said him being in jail and just being persecuted was just too easy to do. And he got him up in this limo and was just, slick talking him, and used that little serpent cane and stole all of the soul out of our boy Seagard. And I don't know if it looked like he's took the soul of Thor and put it into the cane. And now maybe Donald Blake can go back to hitting that cane and turning into Thor. Now that would be interesting. That will be very interesting. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I'm cool with them going back to Asgard and doing some world building there, but that's not what made me pick up this comic. I'm here for this shit like this, man. This had me ready for the next issue. Mighty Thor has definitely been a very fun story. Very, very, in my opinion, one of the more consistent stories coming out of Marvel right now, for sure. Let's see what we got next. Are we out of Marvel? Oh yeah, we out of Marvel. So moving over to my people at Bad Idea. We got Cul-de-sac. Actually, yeah, we got Cul-de-sac issue. What issue is this? Issue 5. Let me get the image up for you. Gonna have all of them up at once, so they hating on me right now. So I gotta upload them all. But Cul-de-sac 5. I mean, this series. What more can I say about this series? It's just really been one. It caught me off guard for one thing. I was not expecting this this series to slap as much as it did, for real. Between the art by, Jonathan Waychak, story by Mike Carey, they've been knocking it out the park, man. Here we go. Cul-de-sac issue 5. We're getting close to the end also, guys. One more issue and we are gone, man. I'm gonna be so sad when this ends. But like I said, we are coming off with the kids trying to get to Texas. They've been hitchhiking all the ways they can to get to Texas, to get to what's my man name? I forgot what his name is. But the guy that used to work with their mom, with Dale and Sam's mom and their parents. But while they're trying to get to him, he's being interrogated by the vampire hunters. And what's the man name? Not Jagger. I'll find his name soon. But Gallant, that's his name. They're trying to get to Gallant's house in Texas, and they're getting close and such, but they end up walking and all of that nature. We also find out that the leader of the whole vampire crime family, he's being he's getting ranked on, and they pretty much saying like, "Yo, you had your moment, but we about to take over now." They done sent the mercenaries out, all of that nature. They pulling a OG call from what it looks like, and they're taking lead. But like I said, they finally get to Gallant's house, and they come into contact with the vampire hunters again for the first time since the first issue, and it's tension, so much tension. You killed our parents. We didn't. They say, "Oh, we didn't know what we were getting." In. All of this stuff. A lot of tension between the two. But in that same moment, like I said, we have what's my man name? Paulus is talking to Gallant, and he's coming to realization finally that maybe the things Gallant is saying about uh Bogdan Thale being a vampire might be true. He's breaking down how he uses it to be able to bump up competition, all of this, such how clueless they are in this whole situation. And it's pissing, Paulus off. But he just saying, like, yo, man, that's why Gallus saying that's why I quit. Because I couldn't deal with it no more. But the tension's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. All until we find out that the vampires have finally pulled up to the building and they are ready to attack. But Gallon lets them know, like, hey, this is why I've been prepared, and has the floodlights with like advanced UV rays and all that such flash right on the vampires exploding everywhere. Great action scenes through this. And like I said, the art in the book makes it even more sweet. Like I said, it's really, really intense in these moments because you don't know who's going to turn on who. Will the kids attack the vampire hunters? Will they come together to fight them? We don't know. But like I said, we get the good fight. You know what I'm saying? Between this moment right here was really sweet. If you could be able to see it, I love this pencil and art. But yeah, man, just some really dope shit that they're doing with this one. They turn the floodlights on them. He said that's a different ball game right there. But like I said, it's just an intense battle inside the house. Everybody's getting busy, man, and it gets really intense. This is probably my favorite panel. The Paulus is just going insane and just the all red panels everywhere, bro. Come on, nasty work. But they pretty much corner Paulus, and it seemed like they might. It seemed like they might. You know what I'm saying? They want to bite him and want him to go attack everybody else. Like they saying that might be more entertaining than anything else. But that's the end of the issue from there, man. And we are gearing up to the finale of this intense battle within the house inside of Gallant's vampire hunting house. Like I said, this story, the art, the intensity, the character development, all has been really, really fun. Like I said, Cul-de-sac has really been one of my favorite stories this year. I can't say nothing bad about it, honestly. Shout out to the team over at Bad Idea. Like they're doing some good things over there. I can't even. They're doing good things over at Bad Idea. But shout out to them, man. Moving over from there, we got G.I. Joe issue 16, part 4 out of 5 of the Dreadnought War. What I mean, this story has just been fun, intense, like intriguing at times too, because you got you got these two dudes on here. Well, let me see. These two dudes on here literally just aura farming, looking like a whole Hollister model Aeropostale cover right here. Like, come on, you got my boy No Diddy, bro. You got my boy Shredder over here with the like mutated muscle veins and shit. Like, it looks disgusting, but it's fire at the same time, though. You feel me? And like I said, who was expecting these guys to be working with each other? But it's just for the sake of survival. Like, I don't think Cobra was expecting Duke to go as hard for him as he was throughout this arc. And the thing is like Duke just wants the answers about Transformers, but he's willing to do whatever he can to get that information to make sure he can avenge his mans that died from Starscream. His name Frost, but he wants to still avenge his man. Make sure he's keeping the path of what this whole GI Joe thing was created for, was to go at the machines. You know, so if this me working with my enemy will get me closer to that, and I'm gonna protect this man to my dying death to make sure we get that information, because he's the only person with thorough information on this shit. And it's looking like, I'm just saying it might. Let's be clear. Cobra Commander is an evil motherfucker. I don't know if all of this sacrifice that Duke is doing to save him, but going against the words of his team, you know what I'm saying, risking his life against the Dreadnoks, who don't even got beef with Duke. They just got beef with Cobra after what they did. They're like, bro, you just let him. We'll take care of him. You can go. You can go, bro. But he's like, nah, I need this man for this info. So whatever y'all got, nah, y'all got to go through me. So I ain't gonna lie, I rock with Duke, man. It was really, really fire. And they had a really dope panel and page at the end where they think they got Cobra. And man, he puts one of the Dreadnought brothers chainsaw in his arm. And they ain't sure going crazy yet, but I know that's what's about to happen next issue. I cannot wait. Oops, I didn't mean to take myself out of here. They have really been knocking it out the park with this Dreadnought War, and it's really been the best highlight of this comic for this year. Definitely taking it up to a whole nother level. It was already fun with the build up going into it, and just getting, you know what I'm saying, this is getting acquainted with the team, but this is really where they're hitting on all cylinders right now with this Dreadnought War. Shout out to Joshua Williamson and Tom Riley. Like, they are cooking with this art and this story, man. And speaking of cool art and cool stories, let's go over to Exquisite Corpses. Oh my gosh. This one was a crazy one. I can't even lie to you. I mean, I feel like with Exquisite Corpses, it's already an exciting enough story. Already exciting enough. Did I get it on here? Already exciting enough. When I tell you that they take it up a notch, a little bit more and more each issue, nah, yeah, for sure. That's really what they're doing. Like, let me make sure I got my notes right for this. No, right? But yeah, okay. Oh no, it's no. Here we go. All right. Yeah, nah. This really was. No, let me make sure I got all my story beats. This really was a crazy one, bro. So, like I said, we pretty much get straight up nonstop tension throughout this whole issue. Where did the thumbnail go? I'm sorry, y'all. Oh, it's still on here. It's crazy. All right. Like I said, man, this was insane, man. We pick up immediately after the pit explodes, after say Layla Blaze set it on fire and such, and the game master is livid. You know what I'm saying? Then you got the New York representative barking in his ear, telling him he is going to mutilate this man in the middle of Times Square if they don't get them cameras on. You remember the last thing we seen was, I believe, Fox Killer and a Lone Gunman going at it. But everything cuts off after all of that. All the feeds were down in insane chaos, you know. But back in an arena though, we got Pretty Boy still alive. He's still alive in my Norbit voice. And his whole he's on some like Two-Face type vibe right now. Like half his face is like covered in like shrapnel from the explosions. Others just all bloody and shit. Like it's disgusting, bro. It's disgusting. And that's literally like as soon as he's looking in the mirror, he's like, oh nah, son. Then he hear people kind of like freaked out about him and such. And that's what literally sends him over the edge. When I thought he was the more calm, cool, collected one out of all the like serial killers, the one thing that triggers him is somebody talking about his looks. Or just, you know what I'm saying, just embarrassing, putting salt into the wound pretty much. I kind of feel like, damn, nigga, I'm already like sitting here looking crazy. I was gonna keep talking about me, goddamn. But man, he starts going insane, bro, and he's slaughtering everyone left in the pit. I'm talking ripping faces open, all of that, bro. Insanity. But while that's happening, though, we go back to the crash site from Audrey and what's her name? Damn, what the hell is her name? Is it Audrey and Laura? Was it Laura? Make sure I got her name right. I think it was, yeah, Laura. Yeah, Laura. So she's looking, screaming out for Jason and all of that stuff. She's pretty much termed like, I gotta find my son. Mother's instinct is just not going crazy in her brain. So she makes a straight line to go try to find where he's at and such. And then while that's happening, Javi, Mike, and Jason are about to go into that burning core maze to try to find Craig. It's Javi just couldn't do anything without finding Craig. Going out to find Craig, and when they do, it's really sad, man. And I gotta give it up for one of my favorite characters in this series, my man Mike, the store owner, Mike, whatever they want to call him. But this dude is Mike the man, cause how real of a nigga he was to have little Jason like just holding his hat down like, yo, no, cover your face, bro. You don't like you until I say, because you don't need to be seeing this. You know what I'm saying? Like his I think that was his older brother, I believe. I believe that's his older brother. Yeah, that to see him dead on the ground and brutally like that at the hands of the little kid, the gamer. It was really sad, man. It was really sad, but Mike really made like really kind of like it was the man in that situation to be able to continuously lead them out of there because he knew like we're not safe here. They're continuously burning. We got to get out of here. It was really really heartbreaking. But one of the real standout moments of the issue was the conversation between Laura and the lone gunman. As we find out, the lone gunman lost the fight. Sucks to see. But as he's dying, he's pretty much putting her on to what everything that's going on with this whole tournament, Game Masters, the 13, and all of that such. And she's like, yo, well, shit, like, what can we do to stop this? And he's like, stop it. Like, oh, sure, this is something that just kind of keeps going. And they is a really great conversation. He delivers a really great monologue to her, and she pretty much just acknowledges what path she's now set on, you know what I'm saying, in the light of her father and all of that such. Really, really dope, man. I gotta give it to him, bro. They really kicked it. They really kicked it out the fucking of the I'll say, well, I don't know how many times soccer players kick a ball off the building, but they knocked the ball out the park with this one for sure. But like I said, it was really, really dope. You got, like I said, the main premise too with this is that, oh yeah, I forgot, Audra caught a body too. I think she killed Layla Blaze, but that's neither here nor there. The main premise of this issue was that the people who we thought weren't the monsters now have to become what they didn't want to be able to survive and save the people or save their city. That Laura who's going to have to become a soldier she never thought she was. You're going to have Laura have to become a protective mother that or be the more assertive person that she never thought she could be. You know, who know and Mike being the leader he never thought he could be. You know, it's a lot of people making great character development moments that are not the villain or not the assassins and all that. It's the regular people who are really noticing, yo, we have to be more to really save ourselves. And it was such a great moment, such a great theme for this comic, for this issue. Shout out to sorry, I did that again, but shout out to what they're doing over there. Shout out to the Tiny Onion crew of what they're doing. It's really dope, man. I'm really having fun with this series, man. Really, really having fun. Definitely been one of my favorite series of the year so far. I cannot even. I mean, if you're not reading Exquisite Corpses right now, I don't know what you're doing right now, player. Real for real. But moving on from there, let's talk about another one of my favorite stories of the year. Everything dead and dying. When I tell you, this story is nothing but emotional beats after emotional beats. I cannot tell you more, like tell you enough how much this story keeps me intrigued, bro. Like I, for one, was never thinking that a zombie story would keep me this intrigued with this story. Like for real, for real. You've seen so many zombie stories, you've seen them all. But this one, for the premise, of people who don't know, this is about a man named Jack who is living in the post-zombie apocalypse. But in this town of Carventon, all the zombies are living life like it's regular. They're not eating nobody. They're just living life like it's regular because he's found a way to keep everybody fed and everything normalized to the point where their brain can still function somewhat regularly because they don't have that insane hunger for human meat and all of that such. So while he's living his regular life and all of that such with his husband and his zombified husband and his zombified daughter, everything's moving good until these outsiders come in and all hell breaks loose because they think that Jack is being, what I'm saying, being held captive by these zombies, and that's not the case at all. And as bodies start to drop, lines are drawn. It's a lot that's going on. It's so much that's going on. If we come to this issue, where, if I'm not mistaken, our boy Jack wakes up after the craziness of what happened in the last issue, where I believe his spoilers. This is all spoilers, so just to let you know, if you're not reading this, cut this off now and go run and grab this. But I'll give you a few seconds. But yeah, so like I said, after the last issue where they had an intense battle between the invaders and Jack, he accidentally knocked his daughter off of the bridge and into the water, and I don't know if he just passed out after that, but we see him wake up and he's talking with I forgot the brother's name, the black dude and the older French woman, and they're just trying to figure out like what's his whole deal and such. But while he's trying to talk with Jack, the older woman is kind of more so like she really wants to take this dude out and just come take over the whole area. So do the others. You got the other two freaky couple that finally enters the farm area, and they notice all the animals and such. They even like shoot one of the dogs, which just makes me hate them even more. Like, and they just end up having sex on the farm. It was just really disgusting. Not even going to hold you. And like I said, we just getting more. Um, we learning more about black man and his how he ended up getting in this situation. And to be honest, Jack doesn't care. He doesn't care. Like they killed his family. He doesn't care about none of that. But we're getting flashbacks, more flashbacks, learning about Jack's background life and his husband's life and how like they had to kind of like hide their gayness. It was a lot of craziness. Also, you got other members of the invasion crew finding some of Jack's zombie friends and doing sick experiments on them, scalping them, saying they were going to use their brains for science. Just terrible stuff. Like I never in my days thought I would be sitting here feeling sorry for zombies being tortured. I don't know how this story was able to do it, but they did it, bro. They literally had me feeling super sad for these zombies, all of these different zombies that were regular people in Jack's life are just being taken out one by one by one by one, and he just cannot take it, bro. He just cannot take it. Even the man, what was his name? The one dude who saved Jack from the argument with the one bigot, and he was just saying like, "No, you shoot him. No, not him. Not in my town." Like, oh my god, it was so sad, bro. It's so sad, dude. And after that moment, he just couldn't take it. He unraveled them joints, and he ran straight at Shorty, bro. He ran straight at Shorty, trying to escape. I think he was gonna try to save It's also was like a lady and her like a zombie lady and her zombie baby who Jack knew from trying to saving her from an abusive relationship, and the old lady kills her and the baby too. It's just sick, bro. It's just sick, man. And then we get a really good flashback where he's talking with a pastor about how to deal with his father's passing and how to really like, you know what I'm saying, if he could find solace in it. It was a really good conversation right there. Um, but in that moment, we see that her name is Colette. That now she's pretty much in the corners of a bunch of hungry zombies, and it's looking like they about to finally take her out. And the freaky couple that shot the dog, the husband or the boyfriend had a little scratch on his arm from the previous issue. He ends up turning into a zombie and eats her. Just very satisfying moments. Very satisfying moments. And at the end of it all, my baby girl Daisy rises out of the water like some type of like, I don't know, bro, but it was amazing. I never been happy to see zombies come back and kill humans. This story is doing it for me, man. I can't wait, bro, for the next issue. This tell you, man, everything dead and dying is a must read for sure, for sure. All right, let's move over to the next one. We almost done. We almost done, y'all. We got um this one was a really interesting one. We got Wrestle Heist. Let me pull up this one. Once again, I gotta put the choice in one by one. Well, not one by one, but I lost space. Now I gotta add some more. Don't worry about all of that. Yeah. There. No. Image. I'll fix all this in place. There we go. Here we go. From my wrestling fans, man, from Image Comics and writer Kyle Starks, we have Wrestle Heist. When I tell you I love this cover with the whole um, pro wrestling magazine type cover and such, really, really dope, man. This is for wrestling fans. I won't say straight up, but if you are a wrestling fan, you're going to love everything about this comic. Pretty much starts off with learning about this guy right here named what was it, Stanley Steele or something like that, Randy Steele. He's Sterling Steele. He's supposed to be like the top heel of the wrestling company, but he's really a good guy. He's really like a dude that puts on, like helps a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, in the ring, helped a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, in all facets of the wrestling business. You know, and he's the real good guy, but he just happened to play heel so well, you know. But he's ready to finally leave and go to another company that's going to be able to pay him for his talents because the company that he's at now is not doing it. But he wants to leave on good terms. And you got a lot of people saying they're going to miss him, all of that, whoop de whoop de whoop. And he's trying to still reason with the owner and saying like, yo, like you can start by, you know what I'm saying, matching with the other places, the other place is paying me, or start giving me royalties on the merch that I sell, or you know what I'm saying, what do you say, or oh yeah. That was pretty much it, you know what I'm saying. But the owner's not budging. Then I thought you'll have some more loyalty to your family and such like that, to your wrestling family. And he's just saying that like, you know, it's times hard on money. The divorce I had is taking all my money. Like I need this bread, and y'all not really, you know what I'm saying, holding me down. But they got this other dude who is just a big brute that does nothing but oil himself up, no ring skills, nothing of that nature. And this is the guy that they are trying to promote right now. So, like I said, we get the beginning of the match, and from what it's looking like, this was going to be a shit show because he was never going to win the title. That wasn't one of his main things. He wanted to just win the title also, but they never gave him that either. But as soon as the match starts, the what's the gentleman's name? Oh, what's the wrestler's name? Oh, the alpha male guy grudges. The guy grudges comes in and pretty much starts fighting super stiff, punching him and you know what I'm saying, throwing him harsh into the ring ropes and such. And then it all culminates where he just puts him into a nasty pile driver and breaks his neck. And then the owner comes in and pretty much tells him like, "Yo, this is what you thought. This is what you thought was gonna happen. You thought you was gonna leave my company and go to the competition, like you thought that." And then he pretty much, you know what I'm saying, broke his neck just so he wouldn't be able to leave the company. It is really sick work, man. Like I just know this person had to be a real wrestling fan to know how sick motherfuckers like that move. It's just really sad when you see that the next panel is that the next company didn't want to pick him up after that. Now it was just really sad. But we get some go a year later where he meets up with one of his old friends, and they're talking about the business and different type of stories and that nature. And they're both pretty much come to they both have bad dealings with their previous owner, and they pretty much want to get some get back with them because they have a big event coming up called Fight Giving, and they figured out like let's rob Thanksgiving, let's rob it and get our get back against what's the guy's name again, Buddy Hansen. They said really fun story if you're a wrestling fan. I'm on my man's side. I can't wait to see how he gets his get back against that piece of shit owner. It's gonna be really fun. Like I said, I can't wait to see where that next issue drops, man. Definitely pick that one up in your shops if I don't have that. But moving on from there, we have I mean, I'm not even gonna say too much about this one. We got Youngbloods issue 2. I still don't understand what's going on. Good art, but don't understand what's going on. I'm dropping it. That's pretty much it. No offense to Rob Liefeld and what he's doing. It's just not for me. This is not for me. But moving from there, in our last story for the night, we have Space Ghost issue 6. And when I tell you, son, this joint right here has been one of my favorite stories or just favorite issues of this year alone, bro. Like Space Ghost, it's like everything I want and love out of comics or superhero comics, but it also gives me that grittiness that I also love too. The art, and just the shit talking sometimes in here that it gets me hyped. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let me add this joint here because this cover is really sweet. And the art, like I said, the cover art has always been amazing. So they always knock it out the park. Here we go. Like I said, we got a nice, dope space vampire story coming off of the little arc that we just had. But you got the vampire crew coming through, trying to take over. They end up biting Space Ghost, and the battle pretty much is between Jason Jan versus Vampiric Space Ghost until they found a way to change him back, and he ends up going against the main vampire of the vampire crew, and it was really dope. Like some really great art in here. Like some of these panel shots are just really dope. Like I gotta give it to this team over here, man. The art in here is amazing. But I will say, these past two stories that's been going past that just happened have made me such a fan of Jan out of the two sidekicks. When I mean Jan is a real beast, she don't play her intellect, her charisma, her bravery. It gets me hyped so much. And you know, Jace, he's funny. He be about his shit too. But Jan, I tell you, yo, she is a gangster, bro. Do not play with her, son, at all. But like I said, it was some really, really dope moments in here. Like I said, it's simple stories, good art, good beginning, middle, and end, good fight scenes. I have yet to have a bad Space Ghost issue. Once again, I wasn't a person that knew too much about this Space Ghost world other than Space Ghost Coast to Coast. And the fact that you're making me fans of other characters outside of Space Ghost now is just something that's really good writing here, good character work. And I gotta say, once again, man, David Pepos has just been doing amazing things over there with Dynamite, man. Shout out to him, Space Ghost, knocking it out the park again, man. But once again, that's what not once again for the first time. That was our review show. I got it was about an hour in. Hopefully we can make it a little shorter next time. But like I said, hope you guys have a great holiday. Let me know in the comments, you know what I'm saying, what you pick up and all that stuff throughout the week. We also got some good stuff coming up this week. You know, this is what's going to be on my reading list for tonight. I already got mine ready to go. We will be reading this ASAP. I can't wait to see what that's going to be about. Got a lot of DC dropping this week. DC is king this week, for sure, for sure. But a lot of things are dropping this week. So go check those out. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what's going to be on your pull list for the week and all of that. Hope you guys have a great holiday. Happy holidays, everybody.